IATA confirms CBN cleared foreign airlines trapped funds. Nigerian startups emerge the largest recipients of funds. On local markets, bullish trends boost investors to gain 954 billion naira. In the global market, bullish trends also embrace world shares in the month of June. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of Atn Business on Atlantic Television Network right here in the big business city of Port Harcourt. This is the network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economy sector of our society to the discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of our viewers the financial and economic activities from all strata of society. Its delivery is accentuated through the various stock exchanges across the world and news about government economic activities, private sector business activities, laced with expert opinions, stakeholder analysis, and correspondent reports. By the end of this show, you can be rest assured of being informed accurately of financial activities all around the world. We'll go for this very short commercial break, and when we return, we'll read out the details. Please stay with us.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
jack us up and down like this now.
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usa, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex. Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't call.
naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
That behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the Marketer Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network. Good to have you back. And now let's go into the market reports, local and international business news for today. But before we start, remember we are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials, and you can connect with us on our social media handles and watch us live on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. On X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, or watch us on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Now let's dive into the news for today. The International Air Transport Association has confirmed that the Central Bank of Nigeria has cleared foreign airlines trapped funds worth airlines trapped funds worth $831 million. That is from June last year to date. The Geneva, Switzerland-based IATA said that the development has brought international airlines trapped funds globally to about $1.8 billion, according to IATA, from the peak of about $850 million. Foreign airlines funds in Nigeria last June, only $19 million is left outstanding. The association representing international airlines said the remaining $19 million was awaiting the CBN verification through commercial banks. The Director General of IATA, Willie Walsh, announced this in a statement on Sunday. The IATA boss, however, praised the Nigerian government for their efforts in ensuring the successful repatriation of the funds by the international airlines. He said at its peak in June 2023, Nigeria's blocked funds amounted to $850 million, significantly affecting airlines' operations and finances in the country. Carriers faced difficulties in repatriating revenues in US dollars, and the high volume of blocked funds led some airlines to reduce their operations and one carrier to temporarily cease operations in Nigeria, which severely impacted the country's aviation industry. However, as of April 2024, 98% of these funds have been cleared. The remaining $19 million is due to the central bank's ongoing verification of outstanding forward claims filed by the commercial banks. The cost of liquefied petroleum gas, otherwise known as cooking gas, appears to be on a downward spiral lately. The consumers who spoke with the press in Ogun, Lagos, Oyo, and others confirmed that the average cost of 1 kilogram of cooking gas is now around 1,000 naira or below, depending on the location and the seller. Between February and March, the price of LPG rose to about 1,300 naira and above in some locations. In February, the National Bureau of Statistics said that the price of 12.5 kg of LPG increased by 46.88% in 1 year. The NBS said that the average price for refilling a 12.5 kg cylinder of cooking gas in February increased to 15,060 naira compared to 10,253 naira in February 2023. According to the NBS, the average retail price for refilling a 12.5 kg cylinder of LPG went up by 28.33% in a month from 11,735 in January 2024 to 15,060 naira in February 2024. On state profile analysis, Ogun recorded the highest average retail price for refilling of a 12.5 kg cylinder of cooking gas at 16,375 naira, followed by Delta with 16,333 naira, and Edo with 16,321 naira. And on to other news, the International Monetary Fund, an international organization that provides financial assistance to countries facing economic difficulties, have released Nigeria's financial position report as of April 30th, 2024. This is according to the latest data assessed by newsmen on the fund's website on Monday. The report shows that Nigeria has no overdue obligations to the fund, indicating that the country has been meeting its financial commitments to the IMF. Nigeria joined the IMF on March 30th, 1961 under the Article 8, Article 14, which outlines the country's membership status and obligations. As a member, Nigeria has a quota of SDR 2.4 million SDR per percent of quota, with the IMF holding 3.1 million % of the quota in currency. The reserve tranche position, which represents the amount of funds Nigeria has available for immediate use, stands at SDR 175.47 million, that is 7.15% of the quota. Special drawing rights and international reserve assets used by the IMF is not a currency, but is based on a basket of currencies including the US dollar, euro, Chinese renminbi, Japanese yen, and the British pound sterling. This allows countries to borrow funds from the IMF in times of economic need. Nigeria has outstanding purchases and loans totaling SDR 1,534 million, that's 62.50% of the quota, including emergency assistance. However, the report highlights that the country has no overdue obligations to the IMF, demonstrating its commitment to meeting its financial obligations. Projected payments due to the IMF include principal amounts of 613 million in 2024 and 2025, and charges interest ranging from 32 million to 78 million between 2024 and 2028. This indicates Nigeria's future financial obligations to the IMF. Economic expert Shadrach Israel noted that this report demonstrates Nigeria's commitment to meeting its financial obligations to the IMF, avoiding any overdue payments. The country's membership status, quota, and reserve tranche position highlights its financial commitment to the IMF, while the use of special drawing rights facilitates borrowing and financial assistance. The leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress are insisting that they will go ahead with the planned strike action over the minimum wage, which will continue as scheduled. The leadership of the two unions confirmed this on Sunday, June the 2nd, despite the last-minute efforts by the leadership of the National Assembly to prevent the potential economic shutdown by the unions. The union says that they will meet in order to take decisions and appeal by the National Assembly to suspend the strike and allow for more dialogue. The leadership of the National Assembly and that of the Organized Labor NLC had held an emergency meeting to avert the proposed national strike. The meeting, which was held at the National Assembly quarters, was presided over by the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, with the Speaker, Honorable House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, in attendance. Present at the meeting were principal officers, chairman of various committees from both chambers, the secretary to the state government, to the government of the Federation. Senator George Akume led the ministers to the meeting, while the NLC President, Joe Ajero, and TUC President Festus Asifo led the members of the organized labor. Akpabio, in his welcome address, assured that the legislative arm was not taking over the job of the executive or that of the labor, pointing out that it will be difficult to negotiate with the unions while the strike is still on.
Whatever agreement we come to will be mutually beneficial to all, the government and the workers. So we are all concerned. We are in the same shoe. We are wearing the same shoe, and we'll be very glad to have something that is workable. But we must also be mindful of collateral damage. I don't want us to, in the course of trying to arrive at a minimum wage, we end up with a lot of serious issues of unemployment. Because as soon as we arrive at a minimum wage, we'll expect the private sector to also adhere. And then if they are unable to do so, the next thing will be retrenchment of workers. So we will look at the issues, and as we walk on the tightrope, we must do the balancing act. So at this point,
the labor union, on their part, said that they are fighting, that what they are fighting for is living wages for the Nigerian workers.
And I'm sure some of you recall what I said during the Independence Anniversary lecture. The one thing that this country and this government can do to eliminate corruption in the long run is to embrace living wage. There is no two ways about it. But we should also be mindful that the mistakes of several decades cannot be repaired within one day. It is going to be a gradual process. We have to start somewhere and then agree to a plan of what we can do to reach that level where every Nigerian worker can beat his chest and say, I am earning enough to put food on the table, enough to take care of my basics. So my own take home for all of us here is to say thank you, the organized labor, for even accepting to come to this National Assembly to give Nigerians and the government the hope that all is not.
The meeting entered into an executive section for them to brainstorm, but ended in a deadlock as the unions were insisting to go ahead with the strike action as scheduled.
Brothers, you are sisters, and everybody, you are constituents. So, and that is why we must all reason together to find a solution to it. It is not for any of the leadership here. It has to do with all Nigerians and the way forward on this. So we are quite committed to finding a way forward, finding a living wage, finding a survival wage, and not starvation wage for Nigerians. With that, I and my colleagues, we are committed to that. Thank you very much, sir.
things have been really difficult. In the last 1 year, that difficulty has even further exacerbated. And that is why this year's minimum wage conversation is a bit tough, and it's a bit difficult, because when you are negotiating under a difficult environment, it's always very, very difficult. So this is a special minimum wage negotiations, and for us, it's been the last 3-4 months has been tough, and Nigerians are waiting for us to give them a wage that at least could assist them in paying transportation to work, could feed them, could house them, and clothe them. These are the basic necessities of life. Not even a wage to buy a car or a wage to build a house, but to meet the basic necessity.
They did, but I thought that they were just trying to discourage me. I've learned that there are other countries in Africa, all the African countries that have been trying to build refineries. They have not been able to build. There has not been a refinery in the last 35 years. There are so many issues, I can't count them, but there are so many. And it's not only politics or money or political will, and also people who are benefiting from this whole stuff of importing petroleum products into Africa are actually discouraging those governments from building a refinery. And they won't get the loans anyway because they don't have very strong banks. The international banks will not support anything like this. We're talking about industrializing the continent, creating a more connected Africa, but we have to make sure we focus and say, look, we are the ones that can deliver. We Africans are the only people that can deliver Africa and develop it. If we are waiting for foreigners or foreign investors to come and develop Africa, it will never happen, he stated. On what's next for the company, he added that we will keep looking at the next opportunities. Petrochemicals upstream, we will look at those opportunities and keep flying. The sky is the limit. He explained that. The fertilizer complex nearby, the refinery was 3 million tons, stressing that he felt great being able to pull off the construction of Dangote refinery. I feel very proud as an African doing this, and nobody ever expected us to pull this through. A lot of people have given up, but we have been able to deliver. Now it is about $19 billion, almost $19 billion, and we had to become an engineering, procurement, and construction contractor. So all the others are actually just subcontractors. We built it on our own, he added. Acting Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, BPE, Mr. Ignatius Ayewo, has inaugurated the project delivery team aimed at recapitalization and full commercialization of both the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Company and the Nigerian Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for agricultural lending. The initiative, outlined by Amina Othman, head of the public communications at the BPE, seeks to bolster the efficiency, management, and capitalization of these crucial agricultural institutions, marking a significant milestone in the government's ongoing efforts to reform and reposition NAIC and NIRSAL to better serve the agricultural sector. These reforms, as per Othman's statements, are rooted in recommendations from the Presidential Committee on Restructuring and Rationalization of the Federal Government Parastatals, Commissions, and Agencies, popularly known as the Orosanye Committee, and have received endorsement from the Federal Executive Council and the National Council on Privatization. Ayewo expressed the objective of establishing robust, well-managed organizations that mitigate risk in the agricultural value chain, aligning with the administration's focus on achieving food security and fostering a vibrant agricultural sector under the President Bola Tinubu's leadership. Managing Director of NAIC, Folashade Joseph, echoed Ayewo's sentiments, emphasizing the importance of recapitalization for NAIC to fulfill its mandate and contribute to the federal government's food security program. Joseph also stressed the need for collaboration among stakeholder agencies to achieve the committee's goals. Masanawa commended Abbas Masanawa, the managing director of NESAL, commended the commitment of BPE and NAIC leaders, emphasizing the pivotal role of insurance in NESAL's strategy to bolster food security. He assured unwavering support from NESAL in achieving the federal government's food security objectives. The PDT, chaired by Mr. Toibudin Oduniyi of BPE, comprises representatives from key stakeholders such as the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and the Nigerian Agricultural Development Fund. Tasked with overseeing the reform process, the PDT is mandated to appoint a transactional advisor to conduct due diligence and develop a comprehensive framework for the recapitalization and commercialization of NAIC and NESAL. Their responsibilities also include reviewing and recommending improvements to existing acts, policies, and regulations, proposing institutional and organizational changes, and providing comprehensive progress reports and recommendations. Nigerian startups have emerged as the largest recipients of funds raised by African startups over the last 5 years, securing 29% of the total $15 billion investments made across the continent. This was revealed in the latest report by the research firm Africa, the Big Deal, which analyzes funding received by African startups. According to the report, Nigerian startups attracted $4.4 billion out of the $15 billion invested in Africa between 2019 and 2023. This positions Nigeria as the forefront of African startup ecosystem, ahead of Kenya, South Africa, and Egypt, collectively known as the Big Four. These 4 countries alone have garnered 84% of all startup funding in Africa since 2019. The report also highlights that the Big Four are home to more than 3/4 of all vehicles that have raised $1 million or more during this period, with Nigeria alone accounting for 25% of it. South Africa slightly edged out Kenya in the number of startups, raising over $1 million. The 2 closest contenders to the Big Four are Senegal and Ghana, though their funding levels have been significantly lower. Since 2019, these countries have received almost 6 times less funding than Egypt. The report suggests that Ghana holds a stronger long-term position compared to Senegal as a potential Big Five contender. Ghana has nearly 3 times as many startups, raising over $1 million, including 13 that have crossed the $10 million mark. Compared to Senegal, where 76% of all startup funding since 2019 has gone to a single company, Wave. Africa, the Big Deal report also points out that other markets where startups have raised over $100 million since 2019 include Tanzania, Uganda in East Africa, and Algeria, Tunisia, and Morocco in North Africa. Among these, Morocco shows a more balanced distribution of startup funds, with close to 40 ventures raising $1 million for more, or $1 million or more since 2019. In contrast, Algeria has seen only a couple of startups securing over $1 million, with Yasser claiming 98% of the total amount. Tunisia has a dozen ventures raising $1 million plus, with over 2/3 of the capital going to InstaDeep. Beyond these key markets, 12 African countries have attracted between $10 million and $100 million in the past 5 years, while an additional 11 countries have seen some activity, albeit limited. However, 19 African markets have not registered any deals at all during this period, despite the significant figures. That the report notes that a decline in funding for African startups as investors exercises caution and amid global economic uncertainties. In the first quarter of 2024, funding for African tech startups dropped by more than 45% to $466 million, marking a 9% quarter-on-quarter decline and a 47% year-on-year decline. This represents a 51.36% of the drop from the previous year, when startups raised at least $369 million across 64 publicly announced deals. The first quarter of 2024 saw Nigeria's mobility startup Move leading the funding rounds, securing $110 million. This highlights the ongoing interest in Nigerian startups, especially despite the overall decline in investments across the continent. And from news on the CBN, we got a report that in accordance in exercise of its powers under Section 12 of the Banks and Other Financial Acts 2020, that has revoked the license of Heritage Bank PLC. The CBN, in a circular signed by Hakama Sidi Ali, the acting director, corporate communications, on Monday, stated that the revocation is expected to take effect immediately. This action has become necessary due to the bank's breach of Section 12, subsection 1 of the BOFIA Act of 2020. The board and management of the bank have not been able to improve the bank's financial performance, a situation which constitutes a threat to financial stability. This follows a period during which the CBN engaged the bank and prescribed various supervisory steps intended to stem the decline. Regrettably, the bank has continued to suffer and has no reasonable prospects of recovery, thereby making the revocation of the license the next necessary step, it stated. The CBN explained that it has taken its action to strengthen public confidence in the banking sector and system, and to ensure that the soundness of our financial system is not impaired. The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Company is hereby appointed as the liquidator of the bank in accordance with sections 12, subsections 2 of the BOFIA 2020. We wish to assure the public that the Nigerian financial system remains on a solid footing. The actions we are taking today reflect our continued commitment to take all necessary steps to ensure the safety and soundness of our financial system, it stated. And viewers, you have been watching ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back shortly after this commercial break. Please stay tuned.
country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point of
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Driver, why you just dey jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usai, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex. Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, oh. Please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Good to have you back on Atn Business on Atlantic Television Network. And now to the rest of our stories. But don't forget, we are on StarTimes channel 194, and you can view live on your YouTube. And on to the markets. Your dollar debts of 15 listed companies in the Nigerian Stock Exchange have hit about 3.76 trillion naira as of the end of December 2023, according to the press analysis of their annual reports filed with the Nigerian Exchange Limited. This marks about 109.74% increase year-on-year from 1.79 trillion naira recorded in 2022 on the back of the depreciation of the naira. In dollar terms, the company's total debts, including trade payables, letters of credit, and dollar denominated loans, rose by 6.59% to $4.15 billion from $3.89 billion in the previous year. The reviewed companies, which cut across different sectors of the economy, ranging from telecoms to the real sector to the oil and gas sector, include Dangote Cement, BUA Cement, Lafarge, Dangote Sugar, Nascon Allied Industries, Cadbury, Unilever, Nestle, International Breweries, Nigerian Breweries, Guinness, Total Energies, Marketing, Seplat, MTN Nigeria, and Airtel Africa. On June 14, 2023, the Central Bank of Nigeria announced the harmonization of the segments of the foreign exchange market into the national foreign exchange market domiciled on the FMDQ. Since the development, the Nigerian currency has struggled against other foreign currencies and weakened over the months, although the different segments of the market achieved a convergence earlier this year. Following the exchange reforms, the Naira went from 471 Naira to the dollar to 755 Naira to the dollar at the investors and exporters window on June 14, 2023. However, the Naira closed the year at 911 Naira per dollar, signaling a significant drop in 6 months. In a commentary in February, Fitch Ratings put the drop in the value of the Naira at about 40%, saying that the Nigerian Naira was recently devalued sharply at the end of 2023 from 899 Naira to the dollar to 13 February when it was 1,516 Naira to the dollar, at about 40% devaluation, exceeding our expectations of a more moderate depreciation in 2024. The large devaluation is the second within a year, 70% devaluation since the end of 2022, and has converged the official exchange rate with the parallel market rate. As of Friday, the Naira closed at the FMDQ window at 1,485.99% per dollar, which shows that the firms would need about 6.16 trillion Naira to pay off their dollar-denominated debts, although some have gone the route of debt-to-equity conversion to get the depth of their books, especially for intercompany loans. In its annual report for 2023, Dangote Cement reported 362 billion naira dollar loans, higher than 257.04 billion naira in 2022. This included loans from Bulk Commodities Incorporated, 49.25 billion naira, short-term loans from banks at 267.35 billion naira, and long-term loans from banks in dollar terms worth 45.72 billion naira. The president of Dangote Industries Limited, Aliko Dangote, has been quite vocal regarding the toll the continued devaluation of the Naira has had on businesses. While speaking at the last annual general meeting of Dangote Sugar Refinery, Africa's richest man said that the local currency depreciation was the company's biggest challenge in 2023. He said that the biggest mess created was the devaluation of the Naira from 460 Naira to 1,400 Naira. You can see that almost 97% of companies in the food and beverage business, none of them will pay dividends this year, but we will try and we will get out of it. Another player in the cement space, Bua Cement, reported 320.27 billion naira from trade payables and borrowings. Its dollar exposure as of 2022 had stood at 34.99 billion naira. Recall that middle of 2023, the International Finance Corporation, a subsidiary of the World Bank Group, in collaboration with Africa and European partners, provided a financing package of $500 million to Bua Cement PLC to boost its expansion drive. Lafarge Africa, which said it was mostly exposed to the dollar currency risk, indicated in its annual report that lower figures as its borrowings and trade payables stood at 25.25 billion naira from 18.96 billion naira in 2022. It also has foreign currency denominated balances in euro, Great Britain pound, Swiss francs, and South African rand. Still in the manufacturing sector, Dangote Sugar reported 346.73 billion naira compared to 189.84 billion naira, indicating an increase of about 82.65% on year from letters of credit, trade payables, and amounts due to related parties. In notes on its foreign currency risk, the company said that the group reviews its foreign currency exposure, including commitments on an ongoing basis. The company expects its foreign exchange contracts to hedge foreign exchange exposure. Its sister company, NASCOM Allied Industries, reported lower figures in terms of dollar exposure at 27.43 billion naira as of December from trade and other payables. The same item stood at 12.96 billion naira in 2022. Cadbury PLC has an outstanding intercompany loan valued at 7.03 billion naira, owed to its principal shareholder, Cadbury Schweppes Overseas Limited, as of December 2023, which has now been converted to equity. The loan was $16.58 million, representing the principal and accrued interest as of 2022. In addition to trade payables, which were due to intercompany partners for the purchase of finished goods, recharges and invoices for other services rendered to Cadbury Nigeria PLC, as well as some other foreign suppliers, the company reported dollar debts worth 12.88 billion naira, lower than 18.60 billion naira. Unilever's dollar-denominated debts dipped to 3.71 billion naira from 9.92 billion naira. This was from trade payables and loans, and Nestle in its annual report indicated dollar-denominated debts of 410.44 billion naira. This includes intergroup loans and other payables. And in the brewery space, international breweries reported 354.72 billion naira, while Nigerian breweries reported 62.84 million naira, and Guinness saw its foreign debt more than doubled, 79.42 billion naira. In the oil and gas sector, Total Energies Marketing recorded 34.94 billion naira from trade payables, higher than 12.26 billion naira in 2022. And viewers, this is where we wrap it up on this edition of ATN Business. Don't forget, you can still watch us live and do business with us on advert placements, bookings, and commercials. And stay connected with us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, or watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. I am your host, Raymond Ken Mbata, and peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for ATN Politics coming up next.